afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today we're going to go over how to log in and utilize the Canon equipment with your ID badges and authentication. This is going to be your main screen when you come up to the copier. If for some reason you do not have your ID badge at that particular time, you can log in manually. All you would have to do is select the AD login and click inside the white area and type in your username. This is the username to your computer. And then once you're done, you click inside the white area to get the keyboard. And then you can actually type in your network password, hit the OK button, and then completely log in. What we're going to do now is show you how to log in with your badge once you've actually logged in. So give it a second, the screen is going to change a little bit. And this is what happens once you swipe your badge. So once you're done, you get access into the actual device itself. When you get into the copier, this is your default screen. You have copy, you have scan and send, and then you also have secure print as well as a tutorial. Some devices do come with fax, and so if you do see an icon for fax, that means that device also faxes. Okay? At this particular time, we're going to go into the copy screen by clicking on the actual copy button and going through some of the defaults. The machine for copying is defaulted to 1 to 2-sided. You know that because it's turned yellow, and it shows you what option it is. If for some reason you do not want to use the 1 to 2-sided and you want to copy something single-sided, all you would have to do is select this icon and select the cancel. And then the machine is now set for single-sided copying. However, if you were to hit the reset button on the panel on the side where the number keypad is, the reset button will go ahead and reset the copier back to 1 to 2-sided. Okay? Now, let's talk about some other options you do have on the copier. I'm going to go through and take this and cancel it out so we can go through some more features. Let's start at the top. This is a black and white copier. You have the ability to do some reductions and enlargements, and that would be up under the 100% icon where it says copy ratio. When you select the copy ratio, you have reductions on one side and enlargements on the opposite side. You can choose any given preset button, use the plus or the minus sign to change the increments by 1, but if you're looking for a desired amount, you can go ahead and press your keypad and put in a desired amount. If you find that some things you're copying are being slightly cut off around the corner edges, meaning the feeder or the header, you can also tell the machine to fit to page. It gives you additional 1/8 of an inch around all 4 sides. If you want to go back to 100%, you can always click the button that says direct 100% and it gets you back to where you started. Okay? I'm going to click on the paper select to see how much paper is actually in the copier. The machine is set for auto, so whatever you put into the machine is what you're going to get back. If you put a legal page in, you should get a legal page back. You put 11 by 17, as long as that paper is in the tray, you should get that paper back. However, from the copier, when you walk up to it, you will not know how much paper is in a drawer. You would have to select the paper button. The lines inside the U indicate the level of buttons. It also indicates the different sizes of papers that you do have in the tray. All the trays are programmed to be a 20-pound bond paper. So if you want to use anything else besides a 20-pound bond paper, meaning heavier cardstock, labels, transparencies, you must utilize the multi-purpose tray, which is illustrated here, called the MP tray. Please notice the MP tray is not numbered like the other trays are numbered 1 through 4. So we have trays 1, 2, 3, and 4, and here's the multi-purpose tray on the side. What we're going to do now is show you how to program that side tray for the purposes of using labels and cardstock. Take a moment to look at the screen. What's going to happen is, as soon as you put paper in that side tray, a screen will pop up, making sure the guides are snug to the paper. The machine's going to be prompted to ask you what type of paper is in that side tray. And here we go. So, paper just got placed into that side tray, the guides got snug to the paper, and notice the machine recognized the size. What it didn't recognize is the type. So down the bottom of the corner screen, you can select change, and you have a list of paper types that you can choose from. There are several different versions of heavy. To find out if you have the right paper type, inside the parentheses, we give you the poundage. So please look at the side of your paper or your ream to ensure that it's the size paper that you do have. And make sure you choose it accordingly. If you do have labels, tell the machine you have labels. If you have bond paper, letterhead, or even color paper. Okay? By placing these heavier cardstocks in the side tray, the rollers can adjust to accept that paper and it slides right through instead of jamming on you. I would not put that paper in a tray because the trays, like I said before, are set for 20-pound paper only. All right. I'm going to hit my yellow reset button to clear out my settings, and they know that right now it defaulted back to 1 to 2-sided. Okay. In the finishing options, the machine automatically collates and does whatever you want it to do, but it collates 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you want something different from that, maybe group the same pages. Maybe you have 2 forms and you want 10 of each, you would say group the same pages. So the machine will print you out 10 of that one form and then 10 of the next form. If you want to staple your documentation, you have various different options. I'm going to select Staple Collate and then choose Next. The machine default is always top left corner. However, we would love for you to put the smoothest edge towards the feeder. So if that is not the location where the staple would be, you have the flexibility of choosing any corner you like. You also have the flexibility of telling the machine that you want double staples, which gives you more of a secure feel if you're doing 50 pages. The machine can staple up to 50 pages at one time. Okay. You also have another option that's a really more of an eco-friendly option called Staple Free. The Staple Free option does not actually utilize your staple consumables. It actually takes the corner edge of the pages and crimps them together, but bonds them kind of tightly. You can only use this feature for the maximum of 5 pages. If you do have 10 pages, you can make those pages double-sided and still get that feature. Keep in mind, this is the same feature you can use on your print driver. So if you want to print using this feature, it's called Eco Staple, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Let's come back to this 1 to 2-sided. If I hit the cancel button, I've taken the 2-sided off. However, if I want to copy something that's already 2-sided, I will need to go into this feature where it says 2-sided. I get all the combinations. This takes my single pages and makes them 2-sided. This feature copies something that is already double-sided, images on both sides, and I want it back on both sides. I have 2 to 1, where it takes my 2-sided documentation and takes it to single pages. This is a feature that we've used in the past for faxing purposes. But if you're faxing on the Canon copiers or scanning the Canon copiers, you can tell the machine that you have a 2-sided original, and it will capture both sides. If you're copying from books or periodicals, this feature takes your 2 facing pages that you lay on the glass and takes those 2 images and places them back to back. So it's 2-sided. I'm going to go ahead and hit my reset button to clear out my settings once again. In your density, you can do lightness and darkness. If you're using color paper, When you're copying color paper, it normally gives you a gray shade in the background. You can actually select the auto button that will eliminate the background shading of that page. So if it's on a yellow sheet or a salmon sheet, it won't give you that grayscale. It'll just eliminate it and put that image on a white background. You can also lighten and darken the image if you need to, just by clicking on the half moons in either direction. I'm going to hit my reset button again. You also can change your image quality. The machine is defaulted to always pick up text photo, but if for some reason you're doing a photo, you can concentrate on that actual photo itself. I'm going to hit my reset button. At this time, that's some of the basic copy options we do have on the main screen. At this particular time, we're going to go ahead and show you how to scan and send. You're going to go back up to the main menu, and then you're going to select the Scan and Send button. From the Scan and Send button, the option that you do have is always Send to Myself. When you do send to yourself, it populates your email based upon your card authentication. Even though the copier might be a black and white copier, all the scanners are scanned in color. So it will pick up those highlights, those red lines. So it's going to pick up your auto grayscale. It's going to scan your document at 300 dots per inch. And it's also going to auto size whatever you are scanning. If you place an 11 by 17 in the feeder, you'll get 11 by 17 PDF. If you place an 8.5 by 11 in the feeder, you're getting an 8.5 by 11 PDF. The machine is going to actually have a file format of PDF. Because you're scanning in color, color files can be large. The machine is going to compress that file as much small as possible. So there's no restriction of file size when you're scanning with this device. Other options for file format, I can click on my PDF compact. You do have availability of making a file to be OCR'd, which is a searchable text. And you can please choose your language accordingly. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition, being able to recognize each character within your file. So at your PDF software, if you want to do a search or a find command, you can type in that word and the machine will go find that actual word wherever it might be in your document. You also have the ability to do JPEG picture files. I first have to turn off the OCR first. So we'll turn that off and then we'll choose the JPEG as an option. When you're scanning JPEGs, they'll be individual files, just like on your phones and on your cameras. You can also do TIFFs, but you also have the ability to take an actual document and convert that document into an Exchange Microsoft language. What that means is I can take that file and scan it directly into Microsoft Word or into PowerPoint, which means now I can make editing changes to that particular document. Note that Word is a text application, so if there's images and signatures and logos, I might not scan that as a Word file. I will definitely scan that as a PowerPoint. I'm going to hit the reset button. One thing I definitely want to note is that the scanner is defaulted to single-sided only. If you do have a double-sided document that you definitely want to scan, you would have to come down and tell the machine that you have a two-sided original. You will select that and determine if that job is book type or calendar type. Book type is mostly how we read. Calendar type is more of a spreadsheet with the bottom of one page, top of the next page. You also have the ability, once you're scanned to yourself, is to possibly be able to name your file. Give me just 1 second because I'm going to alter this screen to put that button on the main screen. And I apologize for that. But as you go through and you're sending files to yourself, it makes it much easier to click on the file name and click inside the white box as if you did when you logged in to the system for the first time and type in a realistic name to your attachment. You're allowed 24 characters to type in that name. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for you to find that job. When you're naming your document, you also have the ability to remove the date and timestamp. So you just have a true name. Within the options screen, you have other options. You can also lighten and darken your document if you need to. You can sharpen it. One thing you can also do is actually reduce the document for scanning purposes. So let's assume that I have a job that's 11 by 17, but I want to send it as an 8.5 by 11. I can tell the machine, when you scan this 11 by 17, could you shrink the job down to 8.5 by 11? So my PDF now is a letter-sized document that originated from 11 by 17 page. I'm going to hit my direct to go back to 100%, and now I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to arrow down to the second screen to point out one really cool feature. Sometimes when you're scanning things that are double-sided versus single-sided, you have a few blank pages in there. What the feature does allow you to do now is to skip the blank originals. So only thing that I receive in my email are documents that have images on them. I can select skip blank originals, make my choice to see if my dividers are color pages or are there white pages. And all I have to do is turn on two-sided originals, and the machine will automatically eliminate those white pages. This is scan and send. At this particular time, we're going to go through and demonstrate on how to send a secure print from your computers. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a Word document. Okay, guys, I'm not the best typist, but we're just going to put some data on the page. Okay, so I have my document that is here. I'm also going to go ahead and make this into 2 pages. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a page break so I have actually 2 pages to my file. I'm going to go to File and select Print. Now what should happen is all your Canon printers should be your defaults. So that should be your default printer when you're printing to the Canon machine. Once you chose your default printer, and I don't see it here, so I'm going to drop it down and choose the appropriate printer. When you click on the printer, as you can see, that drop-down box will tell you exactly what kind of printer that you have and also where that printer is located. From there, if you don't only want to print that job and you only want to print that job single-sided, you do have the abilities to go through right down the bottom and tell the machine where it says print on both sides to print on one side, and then you can proceed to hit print. However, if you want to add other features and functionality like stapling or choosing the multi-purpose tray for a special paper type, you definitely want to go click on the Printer Properties button. Once you get to the Printer Properties button, as you can see, the machine has take heed to that single page. However, if I go through and select the default button to do a reset, it goes back to single-sided. Double-sided, I'm sorry. You can come down and tell the machine that you want single-sided. They both work the same. Okay. Let's show you some really cool shortcuts. If you place your mouse to the upper left-hand corner of this page and click, you can staple. The most you can staple with the machine, once again, is 50 pages. If you want to use the double staples that we saw in the copy screen, you can do the same thing on the printing. I'll just click in the middle of the page. However, if you want to use that really cool eco staple option, and I'm going to arrow down to where it says staple collate, and I choose staple free. Notice the disclaimer that pulls out on the side, informing you that you still can only use a maximum of 5 pages. If I select that feature, notice how my actual icon for my staple now has turned green. So basically, in the basic settings tab, you have your page sizes, you have your one-sided and your two-sided, and also your stapling option. If you want to utilize your multi-purpose tray, you have 2 ways of doing it. You can come up top to this it's a picture of a copier. You can select that, take your mouse to the right-hand side of the copier where that multi-purpose tray exists, and just click on that output tray. And just hit close. Okay? You also can go to your paper source tab and notice that it does reflect that it's going to pull from the multi-purpose tray. There is really no need for you to choose a specific tray unless you're just doing the multi-purpose tray. When it comes to printing, I'm going to step back a moment and start, how do we get our print job out? All your print jobs are defaulted to a location called Secure Print. Secure Print is a place on the copier that will hold your job for 24 hours based on your authentication of your ID. So those of you who are printing out confidential documentation, there's no need to rush to the copier. The machine will hold your job for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, if you have not come to retrieve that job, the machine will purge that job as if you never sent it. Now, one thing you might want to do, and that you have to do, is click on Details. It will show you your username, which is your username on your computer, but you must input some type of PIN number. That PIN number can be 1 to 7 digits. I just recommend you don't use 1, 2, 3, 4. That happens to be mine. But you can put whatever number you want in there. If you're feeling like 007 one day, James Bond, go for it. If you're feeling like California 90210, go for it. But you have to put something in there so the machine knows to send your job to that particular queue. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to hit the OK button, and then you'll hit Print. Then the machine sends that out, and it sits at the copier. Okay? Go back to the main menu at the copier. You didn't give it the fax screen. Now, those of you who are faxing, I don't have the fax icon here, and I'll take a look to see if I can see it, but I don't think I do. But let's just see. That's not the right one. The fax driver is going to look something just like this. It will have options on the right-hand side. It will not have any color options because faxes are all in black and white. The only thing you can tell the actual fax driver or the fax option is that, do I have a two-sided original? So the machine knows to capture both sides. Okay? You will use your keypad to input your number. Please use whatever prefix that is needed prior to, like you have to dial 9 or 8. So you'll dial 9, 1, area code number, place your document into the feeder, and then hit the green start button, and it will go. Confirmation should be already turned on for you, so you will receive a confirmation whenever you send a fax. However, if there's a doubt that you're not going to get a confirmation, you do have the ability to go click on the options screen and arrow down to the second screen of the options and turn on transmission report. That's what that TX stands for. Then you definitely know that you're going to get one. If for some reason that you are stuck and you're not quite sure at the copier of what's going on, you also have an actual tutorial that you can actually go through. So there's one for faxing, there's one for scanning, and there's one for copying. So please feel free, it's interactive. Please feel free at the copier to press those buttons if need be. Okay? Questions?
Why is the machine automatically set for double-sided? Why is it?
That's the standard that the City College of Chicago wanted. So that's the default they wanted. And not only that, that's the actual City of Chicago's initiative as well. A lot of companies are having copiers and printers set for defaults for two-sided. Canon went green almost over 10 years ago, so all our drivers are pushed out double-sided. And we give the customer the flexibility of changing that if they need to. Just that you're just trying to save on paper.
Thank you.
That's all it is. We need some green in our lives. Ozone layer is coming down.
Thank you.
You have any other questions?
So we have to print our documents, we would put up to a total of 7 digits, or could it be under 7 digits?
It's from 1 to 7.
From 1 to 7.
Now, the one thing we didn't talk about is how to actually retrieve that print job. So let's go there. And that'll be, just want to take a breather in between, but let's go to the print queue. Now, keep in mind, when you're printing your jobs, when you swipe your badge, you're only going to see your jobs. So I'm logged in, and I'm only going to get my jobs. I'm not going to see your jobs on the machine. So here's a job that I want to actually print out. Once I select that job, I know exactly what time I sent it, what day I sent it, how many sheets it is, and how many copies I requested. Now, if I decide, I can go into the print settings and say, you know what, I don't want just 1 copy. I actually need 2 of those. Okay? And I can decide if I want that to be two-sided printing. Because we know what long edge and short edge means. What's long edge?
Legal side.
Portrait.
Book type. What's short edge?
That's if you want.
Calendar type.
Calendar type.
Okay. Just wanted to be short. Just look at the pictures. They'll help you out a little bit. But those are the things you can change. And then if you're not quite sure that's what you want, you can always print a sample. So it'll print you 1 out. But if you know that's what you want, you can just hit start printing. And it comes out.
Does it show your image of what you're printing prior to, because you're going somewhere else to pick up the job, so.
No, you can actually see the job if you want to. So, if I go to this Word job, I'm not sure what it is, I can always come down here and say, could you please display the image? The ideal is not for you to be able to read it, just to identify that's what you want. I'm trying to make sure it goes up. Yeah, there it is. So there's my little scribble scrabbly of text. Okay? Now, to get out of there, this little icon down here with the arrows pointing inward gets you back to shrink it back in, and then you can also hit print there. Okay? If for some reason you don't want that job any longer, you can select delete job, and it'll just confirm it and say yes, it's gone. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice that I was in the job printed queue. Once you print a job and you walk away, If you decide that you want to come back and print that job again within that 24-hour range of time, you can go to Jobs Printed, select that job, it'll be there. If for some reason your job doesn't show up in the printed job queue, you can always click on the refresh button and it will ping the system and populate your job back in there. Okay?
So that running list only is for 24 hours?
Correct.
Okay.
The running list is only for 24 hours. Questions?
No.
Well, thank you guys for your time today.
Wow, that's
Enjoy your new pen and copier.